All right, we are about to start our WHS 11 Weather Impact Alert live stream, as it says right there for you. We do have a severe thunderstorm watch for a good portion of our area until 5 p.m. We've got a kind of cluster of some strong thunderstorms that are working into the area. We're just waiting for our stream to get up on our WHS 11 app. If you'd like to download that app, interactive radars, some other weather tools and news and notifications that can help you out during any weather situation. And I am Chief Meteorologist Ben Pine here in the Weather Impact Team Weather Center on this July 30th, 2024 here at 1:26 p.m. And again, we will get things rolling along because we are tracking some showers and thunderstorms. We've got severe thunderstorm warnings just out to the west of Louisville, the newest one there in Breckenridge County, where the rain is coming down very, very heavy. And I'll just show you that while we wait a little bit longer for folks on the WHS 11 app. So this is what we're waiting on here. Thanks for tuning in, whether you're on Facebook or live streaming here on YouTube as well. So we've got this little cluster here that's the models really didn't pick up on. So this might, help bring some clouds in and limit the excessive heat and humidity across the area. We've already had the heat index up around 100 over parts of the area. Main issue with these thunderstorms here early this afternoon as we approach 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 12:30 Central Time, is going to be some isolated damaging wind gusts. Just got a report of some trees down in Perry County as these storms went through there. That's right before they moved over the river and into Meade and Breckenridge counties. Lots of lightning strikes, frequent cloud-to-ground lightning strikes, kind of like the storms that we had pass through parts of the area late last night. And there could be also some quarter-size hail. So you get hail up to about an inch in size, and that can do some damage as well. So these are tracking off to the southeast at about 40 miles per hour. It looks like the northern fringe of this is really weakening, and that's good news for Louisville. I would doubt the severe thunderstorm warning continues for Metro Louisville, as the northern fringe there through Corden, heading into Floyd County, western Clark County, and Indiana has been weakening quite a bit. So before we really get going, again, just kind of waiting just a little bit longer. We are up on all streams, so it looks like we are in good shape. So again, I am Chief Meteorologist Ben Pine here in the Weather Impact Team Weather Center on this Tuesday, July the 30th, and we're going to get right to the radar, try to help you out and help you prepare for what's going on out there right now. So until 12:45 p.m. we've got that severe thunderstorm warning, and then until 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time, this severe thunderstorm warning. So it's not going to take long for some of these downpours to move into Metro Louisville as they move to the southeast at about 40 miles per hour. With that said, let me go ahead and put a track on that. Even though it might not be severe on this northern fringe, we still might get some 30, 40 mile per hour wind gusts. So here's the time frame on that northern fringe here for you. Looks like it's heading southeast towards Louisville here, 136. So obviously going to cross the river pretty soon. Valley Station 140, Prospect 145, and Fern Creek at around 1:50 to 2 p.m. and Shepherdsville at around 2 p.m. I'm going to go ahead and go down here to the stronger portion of this thunderstorm. And we are talking about rain coming down in buckets with this. This is very tropical in nature. And we will send it this way. So it looks like prepare for some heavy rain, lightning, thunder, gusty winds, maybe some hail in Litchfield. Basically, you're already getting some of that rain now into Flaherty pretty soon before the top of the hour. Radcliffe at about 2:10, Raineyville 2:14, Elizabethtown 2:30 to 2:40, Bonnieville around 1:50, Hammondville at about 2 o'clock. So all these areas here within the next hour may experience some of the impacts from this strong thunderstorm. Let's do a couple different things here. We're going to investigate this strong thunderstorm. First of all, lightning. When the thunder roars, head indoors is the popular saying. There are 583 lightning strikes within this thunderstorm over the last half hour. So big thunderstorm here. Now, what about hail? Let's put the hail tracker on here, see if we've got any hail still. Hail's not as bad as it was a little bit earlier. We had the potential up to about inch size hail. That's showing about a half inch size hail right now. And again, just a reminder, we've got the severe thunderstorm watch for the area until this cluster of storms moves through. It goes until 5 p.m. That will more than likely be canceled early as the storms continue to race off to the south and southeast. Here is the latest severe thunderstorm warning until 2:15, so for about 45 minutes, for the potential of damaging wind gusts in excess of 60 miles per hour. The strongest wind reports I've seen so far around 52, although with some trees down, there could be some 60 gusts there in Perry County. So there could be some spotty power outages with some of this activity as it moves through. So we do have a portion of Metro Louisville that is under the severe thunderstorm warning. That includes Shively, Valley Station, PRP, Okolona, just south of Fern Creek. So the southwestern section of Louisville and Jefferson County under the severe thunderstorm warning for some gusty winds. I don't think hail is going to be an issue. And then the warning stretches into the rest of Meade County, northern Hardin County, and eastern Breckenridge County. I'll go ahead and turn on the velocity product and take a look at some of the wind speeds here, as this should be pretty accurate as we're getting pretty close to the radar. That's showing 56 mile per hour winds, 40, 26. So these are the speed of the raindrops that are heading toward the radar. So there could be some isolated damaging pockets here within that green area. Thankfully not seeing rotation at this time with these thunderstorms that are packing a punch as they move off to the southeast. And look at Breckenridge County. You guys are covered in this very tropical rain. Let me see if I can put on a little bit of a different product here. I was going to take a look at the precipitation rate. So this is looking at per hour rainfall rates, and it's kind of out of this world, how much water is loaded in this atmosphere. Again, tropical, swampy out there. 3-inch per hour rainfall rates. Christina San Juan, who is next to me. Isn't that impressive?
And, yeah, not to mention this is what, day 3 of getting these rounds of showers and storms that contain so much moisture in them.
And Christina was just saying, like, day 3 of these rounds of rainfall. So it's going to be easier to get to flash flood issues as we continue to get these rounds of rainfall to move through. So that is the rainfall rates, anywhere from 2 to 3 inches. You don't see that too often. Very impressive.
Ben, there's a report of a tree down here, just talking about the Hardensburg area. Report of a tree down on the road, Highway 261 South near the FFA camp in Hardensburg. Okay, so starting to get some reports in here from the National Weather Service. So we got a tree down around Hardensburg, which is expected with a thunderstorm this big. So we're going to get some pockets. There could be some little microbursts where parts of the storm collapses. On the leading edge of the storms, you can get some straight line winds. So isolated damaging wind gusts are going to be our main issue here with this blob of a thunderstorm that is just feeding on this tropical air that is around the area. That's impacting Breckenridge County the most at this time, and then it's going to be moving off to the southeast toward Litchfield, might impact Elizabethtown here over the next hour, Sonora, much of Hardin County, Grayson County, as you can see the overall direction of this thunderstorm. The northern fringe is not as strong. I don't think we're going to see much in the way of damaging winds over Metro Louisville, maybe very, very isolated. Thankfully, a lot of the city of Louisville is on the weaker side of this thunderstorm. And then farther to the north, not severe, but a couple downpours here about to cross over I-65 in Clark County in Indiana. All right, Brandenburg, there you can see the storms moving through your area there in Meade County, Irvington, and again, covering up pretty much all of Breckenridge County right now with a report of a tree down there around Hardensburg. And then I want to look ahead real quick too. We're going to put on a couple different products here. I'm going to look at futurecast because we could have another round of storms later today. So this is looking out to the southeast towards those storms with a heat index at 98, our dew point 74. This is about as tropical as we're going to get this year. If you just think of, yeah, again, Florida coast, tropical, Caribbean atmosphere is what we have here. So our temps in the 80s, you get a heat index 100 in Shepherdsville and 98 in Elizabethtown. And it looks like we got a little update on severe thunderstorm warning. Okay, moving ahead here with Futurecast.
Again, the weather models did not pick up on this round very well at all, if at all. But it looks like once that round moves through, we will have a break to, unfortunately, kind of recharge the atmosphere for perhaps another batch of some strong, possibly severe thunderstorms moving our way this evening. So still with this severe thunderstorm warning in Meade County and Breckenridge County, the main hazard here, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts possible, and the potential for some isolated large hail too. So the next disturbance heading our direction, this is around 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and these have been very hard for the models to time out, but I just want to show you in general this evening, we'll have another chance for some showers and thunderstorms. If you have some plans this evening, just a heads up here, might have some interruptions. Might have to change some of those plans later on tonight, especially as we head toward sunset, could have that next round moving in. So this is why we have that weather impact alert day for today for the extreme mugginess, but also the rounds of showers and thunderstorms. So that moves through, and it looks like we quiet down after midnight. And as we look ahead, a lot of the data for the last couple of days has suggested a morning round of some showers and thunderstorms for tomorrow morning, as we're caught in this active weather pattern. What we have is a northwest flow in general in the atmosphere over the Ohio Valley. We're getting these disturbances to occasionally move through that northwest flow and interact with this really muggy air. So you just have these ingredients for these rounds of showers and thunderstorms, and that's kind of this busy setup that we have through Wednesday, and then hopefully settling down as we have no alert days for this weekend, and then the high heat, humidity, and maybe a couple pop-up storms here for Wednesday afternoon as well.
And by the way, Ben, it looks like they're starting to drop some counties from the severe thunderstorm watch that we had in place. So obviously the areas that already had that storm pass through there in southern Indiana, they're dropping Crawford, Perry, Du Bois, Washington, and Orange in southern Indiana.
Yeah, always good to have that severe thunderstorm watch, as Christina was mentioning, dropped, and you can see we still have it for Metro Louisville. Basically, just when these storms move through, you're no longer going to have this afternoon's severe thunderstorm watch. Okay, so here it is, in case you're just tuning in, another look at Max HD radar, and where we have some severe thunderstorm warnings until 2:15. Again, the northern edge of this, not as organized. Doubtful we'll see much in the way of damage or major impacts over Jefferson County. Maybe an isolated pocket of some gusty winds around Shively, Valley Station, Okolona that passes through. It's really kind of the southern half that has a bigger punch here, that's moving through Brandenburg, moving down Highway 60 here in Meade County toward Fort Knox, Flaherty, heading right over Big Spring here in the next couple of minutes. Next up would be Radcliffe, Vine Grove, Rineyville, Four Corners, into Pierce Mill. This is all western Hardin County areas, so heads up there. And Elizabethtown, you can see it's not far off. And then also heading over Rough River into Litchfield, kind of the northeastern half of Grayson County.
Ben, if you put on your Metro camera, specifically the Galt House Hotel, I just pulled that up. If you have that in your show, you can see torrential downpours pushing in
All right, so
from our west.
We'll take a look at our live cam out there. Yeah, you can't really see much at all. So there's the heavy rain. That's our Galt House cam. Yeah, so the heavy rain moving, we've got a heavy downpour here, moving over downtown.
Nothing on our Jeffersonville cam either, no surprise there.
So we can zoom into that here on Max HD radar here for you as the rain is starting to move into Louisville. As we're saying, just very tropical. It's going to be very brief too. It's only going to last maybe 15 minutes or so, but I pause this, this is what we're seeing on our camera. Just really heavy rain over Jeff, Clarksville, downtown Louisville, starting to move into the Portland area, Parkland, and down towards Shively, getting in on some of that heavy rainfall. Thankfully though, as I put on our velocity product, the winds are not very strong with this northern fringe, so doubtful we'll see any significant wind impact over the city of Louisville, thankfully. But certainly not the case farther south, where, again, we'll put on the velocity here. And I'm going to go ahead and put on the relative velocity.
And while you're doing that, the latest report we're getting from the National Weather Service is that there's a tree down and several power lines down in Harrison County near Corden.
Okay. So some power lines down, some power outages around Corden. So still looking around some 50 gusts approaching Fort Knox. So some very strong winds there. So we've got this severe thunderstorm warning that includes Bullitt County, much of Hardin County. I think it will get expanded a little farther south too, to maybe include the rest of Hardin County. Perhaps we'll get an extension to that warning. Tons and tons of lightning strikes. I'll pause this. And on this cluster of storms, we've got 1,300 lightning strikes over the last half hour. So again, just a very incredibly water-loaded atmosphere that we have here, fueling these strong thunderstorms. A little bit of hail still noted in the strongest portion of the storm over east central Breckinridge County, with showing about half-inch size hail, so a little less than quarter size as possible. In this very hot atmosphere, though, sometimes there's a lot of melting that occurs before it gets to the ground.
Tracy says power's out in Brandenburg.
We've got some power out in Brandenburg, so they're in Meade County. So getting some power outages with these strong thunderstorms. Let's show you where they're heading as they continue to move off to the southeast. So heading to Fort Knox here in just a couple minutes. Elizabethtown around 2 p.m., give or take a few minutes with these time frames. Upper left-hand corner, you can see the timing of these storms with our squall line tracker here. Hodgenville and LaRue County, 2:15. Munfordville, that's 1:15 Central Time, 2:15 Eastern Time into Bardstown as we approach 2:30. So about 45 minutes from now heading your direction, with the potential of some damaging wind gusts, frequent cloud-to-ground lightning, very, very heavy tropical rainfall, and maybe a little hail mixed in as well. Thankfully, with this cluster, the tornado threat is going to be very, very low for us as this moves in and out of our viewing area very quickly. The northern fringe of this is a lot weaker, so we're looking at just, for the most part, some garden variety showers and thunderstorms moving through Metro Louisville right now.
And shouldn't come as a surprise since you've been talking about just how much moisture is in these thunderstorms, but National Weather Service just issued a flood advisory until 3:45. That includes Breckinridge, Hancock, and Perry, Indiana.
Okay, so flood advisory, Breckinridge County,
Breckinridge.
Perry County in Indiana. Okay, probably Meade. I would just say if it's not an advisory for Meade, just watch out for some ponding of water in some low-lying areas. And this is really going to charge up your soils, make them saturated for more rounds of showers and thunderstorms, which could exacerbate some flooding issues. So that's something we'll need to kind of keep an eye on as we get some more rounds of showers and thunderstorms over the next 24 hours or so. Farther off to the south, not severe, but you might get a rumble of thunder. You get a downpour over Greensburg, Kentucky, and south of Campbellsville as they make their way to the Cumberland Parkway. I was going to check the dew points that measure water content in the air. Sorry, I'm looking at like 50 different weather graphics. The relative temperatures. Dew points are in the 70s. Precipitate, water volume, reflectivity. I don't know, I'm not seeing it at the moment. Get back to the P rate, precipitation rate.
Another report of trees and power lines down in the Irvington area.
Rainfall rates of 2 to 3 inches per hour. Where was it? Irvington. So getting some more tree damage, power outage reports in Breckinridge County. So now we've got a portion of this bowing out in western Hardin County. So this is where we can expect a higher threat of some damage right here. So especially in the apex of this bow that's heading towards East View and heads up Elizabethtown. There could definitely be some winds in excess of 60 miles per hour when it bows out like that. It doesn't bow out for no reason at all. It's tapping into some strong winds. and pushing that portion of the rainfall out. So I would highly expect some wind damage reports to come in from Hardin County as this moves towards Elizabethtown. All right. So just stay inside if you have a severe thunderstorm warning for your area. And I would expect the severe thunderstorm warning to expand to the south with some strong winds noted down that direction. And again, if you're tuning in here, just giving you a heads up on some strong to severe thunderstorms that are moving through the area here at 1:47 on this July 30th, 2024. I am Chief Meteorologist Ben Pine here in the Weather Impact Team Weather Center with the storms impacting our Kentucky communities, especially south of Louisville. On the northern fringe, yes, there is a severe thunderstorm warning covering parts of Louisville from Shively down to Okolona and Valley Station, Fairdale, but that portion is the weakest portion of this complex of thunderstorms moving through. We've been getting some reports out of Meade and Breckenridge County of some damage, some trees and power lines, and some spotty power outages in those areas. I'm going to go ahead and put another track on this leading edge as this moves off to the south east. So here's a look at a track there for you. So it does look like we've got another severe thunderstorm watch extended a little bit farther south to include Hart County for this this area of thunderstorms. So into Cecilia at about 206, Elizabethtown 219, Sonora 230, Lebanon Junction 240, Hodgenville 250, Magnolia 305, into the Balltown area at 320. And that is our latest track right there. Let's see if we've got local storm reports popped up. Here's some of the reports of some damage from these thunderstorms. Right on the Breckenridge and Meade County line, some trees, power lines down in Irvington. Very short while ago there, reported just about 8 minutes ago. Trees, power lines down in Hardinsburg with these storms. So they do have a history of doing some damage. As Christina was mentioning a little earlier, around Corden, tree down, several power lines down, northeast of I-64 and Pinewood Trail. And then in Perry County, we had a report of some trees down there in Dodd. So these storms continue to pack a bit of a punch as they are moving at a pretty good pace off to the south and the east. And once they're gone, this will, for a little while, it looks like settle down the atmosphere through this afternoon, early evening before, as we head towards sunset, we might have another disturbance moving into the area, giving us another chance for some thunderstorms. And Christina, if I give you the mic real quick, I'm going to go check on something real quick.
Yeah, we'll talk about potential power outages that we have out there right now.
Feel free to go between those.
Okay. All right, this is meteorologist Christina San Juan joining you folks. I'm also monitoring your comments here. Hopefully a lot of the questions that you guys have were answered already by Chief Meteorologist Ben Pine, but because we did have those reports of the trees being down on the power lines, I went to Harrison County, Harrison REMC to see just how many people were without power, and the timing here checks out perfectly because right around 1:15 to 1:30 was when we started to get just under 100 customers without power. At least that's what the outage viewer says right now. Haven't seen really any reports across Jefferson County just yet of damage, but usually that will come in after the storm. Shortly thereafter, we'll begin getting all of those damage reports, and with that very strong wind that we have out there, it's not unusual to get multiple reports of trees affecting the power lines, falling down on the power lines, being all over the road. Let me get kind of situated here on Ben's satellite and radar, and we'll go ahead and do another track, show you the current warnings that are in effect. So on the leading or on the northern tip of the severe thunderstorm, we have for Bullitt, Hardin, and Jefferson and Meade until 2:15. It is now 1:51 in the afternoon. And these are moving approximately 45 miles per hour. Putting a track on it so you can see when it's going to be reaching you. Let's see. All right, like I said, just after 150 right now. So Fort Knox, it's basically right over top of you. I'm sure that'll show up on the next scan. E-Town, you've got less than 10 minutes. And then Mount Washington, it'll be there just right around 208, 209, and 213 to Lebanon Junction. And then shortly thereafter, as it continues on its trek toward the east, to Boston, Kentucky. Let's go ahead and take a look at the southern edge of it, where Ben was just talking about it bowing out and having a potential of the very strong wind, which again could result in those power outages. We'll do the same thing here with the squall line and let you know if you're in the path, and if you are, when it's going to be reaching you. All right, Eastview, basically right now, it's now 1:52. Flint Hill, just after the top of the hour, 2:08 to Sonora. Hodgenville, you're in the path of this as well, and included in this severe thunderstorm warning, 2:14. And then we move over to Central Time for folks around Bonneville. That's at it'll be 1:23 Central Time as it continues on that path. And there's just a ton of lightning with these storms, and that seems to kind of be the case with what we've seen as of late. The last several rounds of showers and storms have just packed so much electricity in them, so this is no different from what we've been really seeing the last couple of days. But if there's any kind of bright spot or light at the end of the tunnel of all of these storms, it's that the tornado threat is incredibly low. Like, yeah, of course, non-zero threat there, but the bigger threats are, of course, the flash flooding potential with just the amount of moisture that's embedded in all of these thunderstorms, as well as the very strong wind, which, like we're seeing right now, is starting to bring down trees unfortunately falling on the power line. So kind of going back in time here on our satellite and radar so I can show you where it's at in Louisville Metro area, pushing it into the last hour, kind of doing a loop. And then this is where it currently is. Doesn't look like there's a whole lot of lightning, at least not across Jefferson County. The rest of the storm, yes, but across much of the Louisville metro area and along 65, you're just getting those torrential downpours right over top of Muhammad Ali International Airport, stretching down to the Gene Snyder, also getting poured on. Actually, the worst of it isn't even there yet. Fairdale, you're just about out of the woods with the worst of the rain. Okolona, you are in the thick of it right now. So is St. Matthews and Northfield, stretching up all the way to Prospect. So let's go ahead and do a track on this one as well. It's not a severe thunderstorm warning, or at least the northern edge of that is not a severe thunderstorm warning, but folks in Okolona over to Fairdale are included in that, where the wind is probably picking up to be a little bit stronger. So we'll get that squall line going again, just in case you're tuning in from, say, Anchorage or Fern Creek or in Fisherville and all the spots in between. All right, Highview, pretty much right now. Fern Creek, you've got less than a handful of minutes there. Crestwood will be right after 2 o'clock. Beckley, 2:03. Fisherville, 2:05. All right, with that, let me hop on over to our other computer and see if we have any updates from the National Weather Service. Checking in here. Looks like the more thunderstorm wind damage in Breckenridge, again, doesn't come off as a surprise. Trees and power lines down on Route 401 near Hudson. All right, that seems to be the common theme around here. We have the trees and power lines down again near Hudson, and then trees down on Route 261 heading into Hardinsburg. Like I mentioned, we'll start to get a lot of these reports coming in shortly after the worst of the thunderstorm has come down, and of course whenever it's actually safe for you to go out
emergency responders and whatnot to go out and track those thunderstorms. Now I'm going to take a peek at your guys' comments here on Facebook Live. That's what I have pulled up on my computer. Where at in Corden lost power? It looked like I'll have to go back to that page. Give me just one moment. It looked like it was just to the north of Corden, as I remember. Of course, that's Harrison REMC. I'm actually seeing some reports around Floyd County as well in the Georgetown area, but I can't get quite the specifics. It just looks like it's the northern part of Corden that lost some power, but still just under 100 customers without it. Susie's telling me that power is back on in Brandenburg. Okay, thank you for that report. That's good to know. I mean, these crews obviously can't go out and fix anything in severe weather, so they have to wait for it to pass on by. And whenever it's safe, they, of course, work very, very hard in order to get power restored for folks. At this point, we're tracking the same 2 severe thunderstorms along this line that's producing quite a bit of wind that has knocked down trees, that has in turn fallen on power lines here. The latest track, it's now just about 2 o'clock. We're at 1:57 on this Tuesday afternoon. In E-Town, it's going to be right over you here in about 2 minutes or so. You're probably you're certainly seeing all of that lightning, hearing the thunder, and you're about to really start to have that wind pick up. The severe thunderstorm warning is in effect for the 60-mile-per-hour wind that it's carrying. And then also, we did have some hail on it. We haven't had any hail reports, but I do know that we had a warning earlier that was for quarter-sized hail. I'd say the main threat, though, right now is going to be watching out for the flash flooding potential with all of this rain, pooled up water in the roadway, and all of that lightning. You do not want to be caught in or underneath those thunderstorms as it's pushing off to the southeast. Again, about 45 miles per hour. Oh, the sun is out in Borden, Indiana. Isn't that strange how that works? It gets dark and stormy, just absolutely torrential downpours for a little while, and then boom, the sun comes right back out like it never even happened. So that's what we're going to be watching for also as we go into the next several hours, is if our atmosphere is going to be recovering or not, because we do have more chances for rain and thunderstorms to be moving in as we approach our, Tuesday evening, which I will show you that here on Futurecast. We'll kind of run through what we can expect later on after this quickly passes on by. Like you folks are saying, you're starting to see the sunshine come out. It's not lasting for long as these storms are pushing out rather quickly down to the southeast. All right, moving right along on Futurecast. I will be honest, Futurecast has struggled with initializing these storms, but later on, it's just struggling with the timing. I think that the placement is still fairly accurate in what we can expect shortly after sunset this evening. So this is 9 o'clock. It's heavily favoring areas that it pretty much already went over. So Tell City, you can expect to get absolutely poured on shortly after sunset this evening, and then it'll continue on a similar track to what we're seeing outside right now, eventually expanding into Harrison County, down to E-Town, Litchfield, Grayson County. I know you guys have gotten just a ton of moisture the last couple of days. Some folks this morning, especially around Corden, Indiana, picked up about 1.25 inches. Wouldn't be surprised, we will certainly see that amount go way up, and I'm sure we will be checking that after these storms move on through the area. So the timing tonight, I'd say about 8 o'clock when we'll start to see the storms moving into Du Bois County, much like they did today, and then continuing through the area, eventually moving into Greene, Taylor, Adair counties by about 11 o'clock. Should largely get them all out of here by midnight tonight, paving the way for a mostly dry start to your Wednesday. And you can see the timing there in the top left-hand corner of your screen. Waking up very early. we're going to wake up dry, but it's not until about mid-morning that we start to get, yes, yet another round of showers and storms, this time wanting to really favor southern Indiana, and then it's going to propagate toward the southeast as the morning and early part of the afternoon continues. So again, this is going to add insult to injury when it comes to how much moisture these storms have. Very, very heavy rainfall, and that threat will remain the same for your Wednesday. We will go back to the watches because they have trimmed down some of the counties that have been included in those severe thunderstorm watches that we got issued earlier today. Looks like they were able to trim off Crawford, Perry counties. You folks are in the clear, but a large chunk of our area is still under this severe thunderstorm watch until 5 o'clock. The good news, though, is National Weather Service still very good about trimming these whenever folks are in the clear, so that can make you rest easy, perhaps even head outside for a few hours. It's going to be quite sunny. But with that sunshine will be the atmosphere trying to recover. Temperatures are going to warm right back up. Sunshine is going to kind of fuel our environment as well for those storms that we're expecting later on this evening. It's also incredibly muggy. I'm sure you do not need me to tell you that because it feels so incredibly tropical outside. We have heat index values nearing 100 degrees, not just today, but unfortunately that's going to remain the theme into the next couple of days for your Wednesday and especially for your Thursday, which looks like one of the hottest days that we're going to be seeing. Chief Meteorologist Ben Pine is doing a live cut-in right now on WHAS 11 on air, so if you are hearing some background noise, that would be why. All right, moving into the newest satellite loop, or I should say radar loop here. It's been quite the day, quite the late 24 hours when it comes to active weather. Okay, let's go ahead and put this on a loop, and you can notice out ahead, so just out ahead of that main line, starting to get some development. And that happens in this sort of atmosphere. That main line will eventually try to catch up with those cells that are out ahead of it. Very close to the Munfordville area, and right over top of Caneyville, Litchfield getting much more water. Millerstown, Eastview also getting those torrential downpours. You can see all of that red indicating just how heavy the rain is. Fort Knox is just about past you, continuing to move past you to the east. Radcliffe right over you. Vine Grove and down to E-Town. Again, main threat here, if you're just joining us, is the very strong wind that these storms are producing. Until 2:15, we have that severe thunderstorm warning from southern Jefferson County, including Bullitt County. Hardin County also included on that storm, and then as we look kind of farther on down to the southwest, that's where we have the severe thunderstorm warning for Grayson, Hardin, Hart, and LaRue. We'll put this in motion here of the last hour, and notice all of that lightning just completely lighting up the radar here over even just the last 45 minutes or so. I'd like to put the lightning tracker on here very quickly so we can see how much lightning that we've had in these storms. Wow. Nearly 1,500 strikes of lightning. This is electrically charged, to say the very least. Well, let's see if we're seeing any reports of hail or if the radar is picking up on any hail. Hardly anything here. Beaver Dam, that's right out of our area, but let's go ahead and see what the estimates are. For hail size, about 1.5 inches. That could do some damage, but here locally, hail is not the biggest concern. Of course, we don't want to see any size amount of hail, whether it's pea size or quarter size. maybe some smaller hail here across Grayson County. Hail size just under 1 inch, so that would be just a little bit smaller than the size of a quarter. And quarter size hail is part of what they would issue the severe thunderstorm warnings for. And again, not necessarily issued for that, or at least now as we speak, but it's for the incredibly strong wind in this line of showers and storms that have moved into our area rather quickly, and in and out of our area for that matter. Like you folks were saying, you're starting to see the sunshine come out. So it comes in, disrupts your plans, does its damage, and then moves on out of here. And that's kind of just what we're going to continue to see over the next couple of days. Right now I'm just checking the chats with the National Weather Service to see if we have any more reports of damage, or if they have any updates for us on what they're planning to do with any of these watches and warnings. Chief Meteorologist Ben Pine just got done with his cut-in. I'm going to hand the mic back over to him.
Thank you, Christina. Always a great job, as always. Just putting the mic back on here. Just did a little cut-in there for WHS 11 television. But we're trying to keep you up to date and live streaming on all of our platforms these days. So you can get that WHS 11 app. We've got it streaming there, YouTube, Facebook, of course on television. We've got information at the bottom of the screen at WHS 11 on air with our weather impact information there. So it looks like in about 2:15, only about less than 10 minutes, we're going to have this warning expire for Metro Louisville. And thankfully, in the city of Louisville, we've been on the northern fringe of this, the weaker side of this complex of thunderstorms. As we go back to radar, the strongest portion of this has been, again, off to the south. And this is looking perhaps a little less organized, more kind of clustery than it did. We don't have that nice formation of that bow echo like we had earlier, or that curvature in the line. It's kind of just looking more ragged, which is a good thing, that perhaps this will be on a slight weakening trend as it continues off to the southeast. But nonetheless, let's zoom in for you here in Elizabethtown. You are getting some torrential rainfall coming down. That is blinding rain. That is very hard to drive through, and causing some ponding of water on the roadways. It's moved east now, Fort Knox and West Point, Shepherdsville. You're about to get some heavy rain, gusty winds. We've got a little outflow, which means downdraft dominant, which means the rain is kind of taking over and weakening the northern portion of this. But with that said, Fisherville, southeastern portions of Jefferson County getting in on some of this heavy rainfall. So it's about to move out of Metro Louisville here in the next few minutes. If it holds together, of course, Mount Washington about to get some of this heavy rainfall, some lightning and thunder and some gusty winds also towards Taylorsville and Shelbyville, not too far out. We'll do a couple tracks here as this continues to move generally at around 40 miles per hour. There are different segments that might push out a little faster than that, but heading towards Mount Washington now, Simpsonville at about 218, Taylorsville 225, Taylorsville Lake around that same time, and into Bloomfield at about 235. We'll go ahead and do another track on a little bit farther south portion of this. Looks like we've got an extension of a severe thunderstorm warning that's going to cover Nelson County, much of Washington and Marion counties in Kentucky for this portion. I am about to do a track here for you. So heading to Hodgenville now, Buffalo 215, Cox's Creek at about 230, Bardstown 230, and St. Mary at about 245. All right, expanding off to the south a little bit farther here. Of course, these squall line tracks are the most important way to give you a heads up on what's about to head your way. All right, we've got Hodgenville popping up again now. And then we've got Magnolia at about 220, Greensburg at about 237 Eastern Time, 137 Central Time, into the Saloma area 245, and into Campbellsville at around 250, 3 o'clock. And again, there are some kind of garden variety downpours out ahead of that main line, but we're just kind of putting a track on that main line here for you that it has been the most impactful and has caused a few reports of some damage here over the last hour or so. Getting a few more of those damage reports here on that leading edge. So some trees down, 3,000 block of South Long Grove and Glendale. So getting some reports here around the Hardin County area. Just north of Elizabethtown, it looks like we've got a report of some damage. One of the more recent reports, some trees down, 6,000 block of South Wilson. That's in Rineyville. So these storms still packing a bit of a punch as they roll through the area. So the latest severe thunderstorm warning that we have is here until 3 o'clock. That includes from Bardstown south into Greene County. So there's a bunch of counties in the severe thunderstorm warning because of the history of these thunderstorms causing some damage. So we've got Nelson County, Washington, Marion, northwestern tip of Taylor, northern tip of Greene, pretty much all of LaRue County and the eastern sections of Hardin County under the severe thunderstorm warning until 3 p.m. That means you want to be inside, be in a safe place until this moves through. Thankfully, as we've been mentioning, the tornado threat is very low with this activity today. We're mainly talking about some damaging straight line winds, maybe a microburst, which is a portion of the thunderstorm that kind of collapses and can cause some wind damage in some isolated areas. Might have some localized flooding to watch out for, and of course some frequent cloud to ground lightning. So again, this is what we have across the area right now as we zoom into the northern. Nothing happening in southern Indiana basically, other than a few sprinkles there left over, some light rain around Corden. And then we have the very northern tip of this line of storms moving through eastern Jefferson County, so eastern portions of the metro area, and about to move east of the Snyder into Fisherville and down Bardstown Road towards Mount Washington. And so we're going to see more areas in Kentucky east of I-65 starting to be impacted from these strong thunderstorms. Time will tell what these storms do for our activity later today. If they leave some remnant cloud cover, that might help settle the atmosphere down and not allow the storms to become. But notice where the storms have gone through, we don't have a heat index because it's cooled down. Where the storms have not gone through, 102 heat index in Springfield, 101 Shepherdsville. So our heat index numbers are around 95 to 102. So you've got to take care of that high heat and humidity out there, and that is what is fueling some of these strong thunderstorms that we have across the area.
Even more counties getting trimmed from the severe thunderstorm watch. We'd like to see that. Clark, Floyd, Harrison, and Scott are all in the clear.
Yeah, getting more of our counties erased from the severe thunderstorm watch as the storms move east of your area. So this is Futurecast. It shows later this afternoon is quiet and hot and muggy, 90s, feeling like around 100 to 105. We don't want the atmosphere to recharge up because then that'll fuel this next possible line, kind of cluster of showers and thunderstorms. Thankfully, this does not look as strong as it did before with previous weather model runs that we had to look at yesterday. But some severe thunderstorms, strong thunderstorms at least, will be possible later this evening. So that next batch could move in after around 8 o'clock and then out of here by midnight. So 8 p.m. to midnight could have another round of some showers and thunderstorms. If you have some plans this evening, just heads up there. And then tomorrow morning, it's been very consistent with the next round of some showers and thunderstorms. This is around 10 a.m. on your Wednesday. And then with the heat of the day, there might be an isolated pop-up shower or thunderstorm Wednesday afternoon. Wednesday afternoon, the main issue is probably just going to be battling the excessive heat and humidity. And then look at the tropical atmosphere that is not going anywhere. We're kind of in that tropical level for the next 7 days. Okay, so as Christina was mentioning, we do have much of our area out of the severe thunderstorm watch. The watch only continues for areas that could see the thunderstorms move through and where we have severe thunderstorm warnings ongoing. That is Bullitt, Nelson, LaRue, Hart, and Hardin counties, and Grayson County. And of course,
we are going to go ahead and extend that severe thunderstorm watch to the southeast. Doesn't really come as a surprise when you look at that severe thunderstorm warning. Probably going to continue to follow the track of the storms that are moving through.
Yep. Thank you, Christina. Yeah, so we're going to continue that watch downstream from these thunderstorms that are just water loaded. This is, again, tropical atmosphere here and putting down some very, very heavy, incredible rainfall rates. Frequent cloud-to-ground lightning and some isolated damaging wind gusts are also going to be possible. You can see this is, we'll go from north to south here one more time before we kind of wrap things up. But we have no warning for Metro Louisville or this northern fringe. There's no warning for Shelby County or Spencer County, as that northern fringe is kind of gusting out. We've got kind of an outflow boundary, so kind of on a weakening stage. Although, yeah, heavy, heavy rainfall for a brief period of time. Southern tip of Bullitt County, that includes Lebanon Junction under that severe thunderstorm warning for a little bit longer. We got heavy rain moving through Mount Washington, Shepherdsville. It's going to be moving into the Taylorsville Lake area. If you know anybody out boating on Taylorsville Lake, give them a heads up. They're going to have some heavy rain moving through here shortly, some gusty winds. And then about to move over I-65. There's going to be some rough travel there in Bullitt County, Hardin County. The worst of it's moving through Elizabethtown, so no more impacts from any damaging winds there. And that rain will come to an end pretty shortly. And
Looks like they're just warning that entire line basically here, Ben, from Bardstown all the way down to Grayson.
yeah, very big severe thunderstorm warning. And some of the heaviest rain coming down over Hodgenville, you get Sonora, Munfordville, and you can obviously see where that is going. You're over the next half hour to 45 minutes, you're going to have this moving into Springfield, Lebanon, Campbellsville, Greensburg, Columbia, and surrounding communities, the Buffalo area, Hodgenville, obviously getting in that heavy rainfall, Bardstown too. So again, if you have this warning, just want to stay inside until it passes on through. And then we'll get a break for much of the rest of the daytime today. Before this evening, we might have another round of some showers and thunderstorms. Again, you can keep track of all that's going on our WHS 11 app. On WHS 11, we've got information at the bottom of your screen, WHS11.com. Alerts are all over our platforms there for you. But we're going to need to get prepared for our 4 p.m. show, but I hope this helped you out with our live stream here on Facebook, WHS11 app, and YouTube. And we've had some updates on WHS11 on television too. So thanks for tuning in here to our Weather Impact team. On behalf of meteorologist Christina San Juan, I'm Chief Meteorologist Ben Pine, and thanks for tuning in here.